We're ready.
Welcome to Elvis Fans Matter. And we're back
With a bang.
with a bang.
And Danielle has some questions.
Questions. Gonna ask Wanga, bye.
All right.
Where's my dog? She's sitting here wide-eyed, man. You know, thinks I'm gonna
We're at the
give her-
table. She thinks you're having food.
Yeah, she thinks we're gonna eat. So, all right.
All right.
How did your family feel about Dr. Nick?
My family.
Well, just I guess
I always liked
the
Dr.
group.
Nick.
I
Liked him. He was
Dr. Nick.
very nice.
He
And
was all right.
him and Dean and
Yeah.
Edna, his wife, and his daughters, Elaine and Christy. Was Christy? No, Chrissy.
Get it right.
I will.
So no hard feelings
No,
or anything
no,
with
no.
Dr. Nick. Okay.
No, Dr. Nick was all right.
Dr. Nick was he just, I mean, he was only one of his doctors, you know. But he had he went on tours with him, but Dr. Nick took care of everybody on tour, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay. Was Tom Jones at Elvis's funeral?
No.
No.
He was not.
No.
All right. When you all packed up in Tupelo and headed for Memphis, what are your memories of that day? Did you guys leave at night? Was it in the
No, it's
daytime?
in the daytime. Yeah.
What all did you take? Did Elvis take his little guitar? And it says, was Gladys and all of the adults feeling optimistic about the move? Or did they have plans or already have a place to live? I mean, how did all of that kind of unfold?
Well,
I love this story.
we Daddy had killed. They had, had hogs and cows, and they, Uncle Vernon and him, they lived in, in Tupelo, and we lived at that time out on Mitchell Farm, and we had, a couple of cows and a hog and all of they had killed the hog, and cut it up and
Cured it.
and all, and so we brought a little bit of that with us, and what few clothes and stuff. They went back and got some of the stuff later. I mean, we couldn't bring it all right then, but
No.
they went back and later got some more of the stuff. And
But didn't your daddy and Uncle Vernon come ahead of y'all and
well,
find a
they
place?
had came ahead and
Find a place to live
found a
and-
place to live and all that, and then we came up here, and Daddy and Uncle Vernon and Elvis were in the front seat, and my mom and Aunt Gladys and Bobby and me were in the back, and I spent most of my time on the floorboard because, I was little and gave them more room, and I was, playing with different things, that I had right then. I don't remember exactly what toys. It was just, something to keep me occupied. And Elvis, he had to sit, there was a stick shift. He had to sit, with his kind of across the stick and all. And every now and then, Uncle Vernon let him, shift
Change
gears.
gears.
For him, yeah. And of course, we started out, and we.
That's when it was in the floor, wasn't it? The floor.
Yeah, floor shift. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And but we stopped and got some bologna and crackers and cheese. What little money they did have. And at that time, it didn't.
That was a treat.
That was a treat. You didn't,
We got that on moving day.
Yeah. It didn't cost much.
Yeah.
Because they had open
Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrels. You know, you get your crackers and
Chunk of cheese.
chunk of cheese, and we'd pull over on the side of the road and
Little country stores.
eat, and then we got back in, and we'd travel a little while longer, you know, and maybe stop, rest, and then, so until we got to Memphis.
Did you get an RC?
No. I got plenty of water, you know.
Oh, okay.
But no, we didn't get no RCs or drinks. We got, water and stuff. We made it to Memphis and unloaded what we had, and didn't take long, And, we had, lived at that time in the same apartment building, which was on Washington Street, and we.
How old were you?
I was 5.
Is that downtown?
Yeah.
Washington Street was?
I don't get to
I mean,
downtown
right-
Memphis too much.
Right down in the middle of town, boy.
Mm-hmm.
But
Wasn't it a building where you had a community bathroom? Was that the one that had the community bathroom where everybody had to use the same bathroom and just?
no, it had one. It didn't have but one bath, but it was only two apartments.
Oh,
there,
okay.
lower and upper. Now the community bath was when we moved on Poplar, and that was right where the jail is now.
Oh, okay.
It was, and they actually condemned the building, and that we had to move. We moved right across the street into an apartment. They had turned this like a, I don't know what you'd call it now, but it had several places. It was like kind of like a clinic, and they had it was only 2 levels, but they had turned all the rooms kind of into living quarters, and but the one on Poplar, we had a community bath, and it was very inconvenient, and it seemed like everybody had to go at the same time. Most of the time, I went down in the basement up under it, and did whatever I had to do.
I can't imagine.
They condemned the building. We lived there just a very short time.
The
Because they
one
condemned it,
on,
and we moved, like I said.
And you were
across
5?
the street. 5.
the one on Washington, when you said it was 1 bathroom but 2 apartments, was that your family and Elvis's family? And so y'all shared the bathroom with with people you knew at least.
Yeah. But
I mean, that's still a lot of people, but I'd rather know them than not.
Yeah.
I know.
yeah.
You never lived far away from him the whole time?
No,
Yeah.
no. They moved to on Poplar, and from Poplar, we lived on Poplar, but they lived a little further down. But anyway, then they moved to the Lauderdale Courts, and we moved to the little places like the clinic, which was, I mean, if you looked out or walked out our door, it was straight across,
See them?
Yeah. We actually could see their window from where, and then after they moved to Alabama Street, we moved to High Street, which joins it, and it's about a block and a half from where they lived. We always lived.
When did Patsy and Cletus Investor move to Memphis? They didn't move the same time you did they?
I don't know exactly when they moved to Memphis and all. A lot of them I don't remember when they moved here. It was after we all had moved up here, and then slowly as
family
family moved.
So what was y'all's reason for moving? Just looking for work, or?
Yeah, for better paying jobs, and all.
Try to get
Was real. It was real limited, in Tupelo and all, and so they had come up here, and of course, what little money they had, had to hold on to as best they could, and I know, well, they, I remember them putting cardboard in their shoes because they had walked so much, and wore
more holes
of
in
what they had anyway, it brought from Tupelo. And finally, they found jobs, and everything got a little bit better.
I remember your daddy, he used to tell about when y'all moved up here, and he said they had a certain place they kept the money because they didn't carry it on them. They kept it in a drawer or something anyway. They let one of the cousins that had come up here stay with them, and while they were out looking for jobs, he stole the money and your daddy's pair of socks.
Daddy had
he had one new pair of socks, and he said, I was madder over them damn socks than I was the money. He said I had one pair that I could change too. He said I was so mad over that, and I remember him saying I never was so tired of turnip greens in all my life.
Yeah.
That's why I almost never said he'd never eat another one. They had to eat turnip greens.
We would get the
money.
turnip greens from the
little market
the Magolio family. Had one of these
fruit stands,
and they sold different vegetables. That's when they'd throw out the bananas in the big garbage can, and that's where I dug in and fell over in it. Thank goodness, Elvis come along at the time.
Elvis said, I came along, he said, I did a double take. He said there was two little feet, black on the bottom, sticking out, hollering. And he said, I just pulled him out. He said, he didn't let go of those bananas either. He said, Billy was still hanging on to the bananas.
I offered him one, but he wouldn't take it. He said, no.
You worked too hard for that.
But that was our great trip to Memphis, some funny stuff, and yet, it was some rough times too. Of course, us kids, me, I'm sure Elvis, he experienced it more than I did.
He probably paid more attention than you did.
He was older.
Yeah.
But it was a time.
Mm-hmm. Is that, I know you said one time in an apartment y'all had, the place where y'all all live was so bad that a rat bit you on the fingers?
Well, that was on Poplar. That's
Okay.
the place that they condemned.
He was laying on the bed with his hand hanging off, and
Rat bit me on the finger. And, of course,
you had to live till you live.
Oh, man.
Till you live on Poplar.
Yeah.
Well, there are parts of
That
it
would
that
be
are
rats.
nice.
No,
And then
that would be
parts of
it would be some big rats, and they are all over the place.
Yeah.
And, rat traps wouldn't do it. Because
No.
there were so many of them at that time.
It's funny to think back on all that, and
Now, people may think I'm exaggerating, but I promise you, I'm not. They were. Well, like I say, if we hadn't lived there long, they condemned the whole building and they tore it down. That's.
Well, can you imagine when they tore it down? The
they
rodents
scattered,
and
probably.
stuff they scattered.
Yeah.
It makes my skin crawl.
But I remember them tearing it down.
was it anything like y'all tearing the house down at Graceland?
Oh no, this here was a lot quicker, a lot easier for them. Yeah. We lived right next to a church, the fact, I think that church is still there. At one time it burned, and then they redid it. But where like I say, where the jail is now, that's where the building
Your house.
was and all. The jail at that time was over on Adams Street, and which is the next street over.
So you're talking about the big jail, 201.
201 Poplar,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
Well, I don't think it was 201 then.
Then no, but if
I
you're
couldn't tell you what the number of it
if you're
was.
familiar with Memphis and you
Yeah.
hear 201 Poplar,
You
and,
know what that is.
you know
exactly.
that's Memphis,
Yeah.
big
Didn't
Memphis
you ever
jail.
go to that church, or did Elvis ever go to the church?
We got, no, he never did go, but we got a chance to go there and I was in a choir at Christine.
We who?
Well, all the kids that went to
in your
Christine
class?
and all in our class, and we got to go and sing. Of course, it's real big and it echoed. The sound was fantastic. It really was. And but that church is still there now.
I was thinking it's a landmark, isn't it, or is it?
Yeah, it is.
It'd have to be.
Yeah, yeah. But
That was a while back.
It was.
Got some more, Danielle?
I
Danny
do. Let's see. Have you ever watched the documentary that comes on YouTube? I believe it started a few months ago. It's called Loving Elvis and Elvis's Women. Have you watched that yet? We've had a lot of questions about
Yeah,
that.
well, we've had
so
a lot of questions about
we need to.
No, I don't know who came out.
No, but what we may need to do is
We had some
get
questions
back to that. Maybe
After we
look it
watch
up
it.
and watch it and see, and then
Yeah.
touch back on that, so we won't forget you.
Because I don't, I don't think I've seen it yet.
I don't think I have, but we will look it up and then maybe touch base, and they can let you know how they feel about it, or if they agree with it, or because I'm not exactly
somebody
sure.
said there's a lot of ifs that some of the women that he dated are telling. But we don't know what ifs
Right.
until we see it. So
Okay. But yeah, Sharon, we'll check that out and then maybe get back to you on a later video on that. Let's see. Did Elvis know Patsy Cline?
Yeah, I don't know if they ever met.
Okay.
They could have.
Yeah.
As much traveling as he did and
Right.
all that. If he ever met her and all, I don't know.
You don't know.
Because, but then he met a lot of those artists that that I didn't.
Grand Ole Opera artist.
Gosh,
Um,
yeah.
Well, it says, this follower says, did Elvis know Patsy Cline? I've read that they had mutual friends like the Jordanaires and Brenda Lee, and just wondered if, did Elvis like her music? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
He liked her singing that.
and he says, in his opinion, he thinks that Patsy Cline and Elvis together could have made a good duet, a good song.
Elvis.
Probably
This
because
is
of a
my
lot
opinion.
of the artists.
Elvis could have made a good duet with anybody. It would have been.
But I do. Patsy Cline had a good voice.
She did.
All right. Where did people sit around and talk in the kitchen or eat? It said there was no table in the kitchen. Was there not a table in the kitchen when you lived there?
At Graceland,
Mm-hmm.
it was a breakfast bar
Yeah,
that went
breakfast bar.
that had chairs that went up to it,
kind of went around
in an L shape,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
So did y'all
Yeah.
eat there? If you
Sometimes.
ate as a
Sometimes, and
group?
then there was little tables out in the den,
Okay.
round tables, and
Did y'all ever
for a
have
while, I think they.
Yeah. it
Was there a
you know,
dining area when you lived there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Big old
did you
dining
have
room.
like family dinners or any like formal dinners there,
Yeah,
or was it
that-
just there because you had a dining room, had to have a table in there?
Yeah, well, Elvis wasn't a formal person. I mean, they had family dinners and
Oh, yeah.
all the time, and we've eaten up there several, lots of times when we'd all go in the dining room and eat. But he was not a formal person. I mean, he just liked to kick back and whatever.
That's us at our house.
He might
What
wipe
we
his hands and throw it under the napkin under the table, or
we don't have a dining room, as you know. We just have our table, but we very seldom sit at the table to eat. Like during the week, it might be in the living room or in the middle of the bed watching TV, or
well, we do it.
we just don't do. I mean, most of our more I don't even say form, but traditional sitting at the tables usually just at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Yeah, that's about like we are. We just,
last few years he eat mostly upstairs.
Upstairs
He
in
had
his
had
room.
food brought up
Yeah.
and ate upstairs.
yeah, he sure did.
All right.
Did your family and Lisa and Priscilla, y'all go to Vernon's funeral and to Dodger's funeral?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. We went to both of them. You know.
Y'all did.
Yeah.
What about Lisa and Priscilla? Did they both attend?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Gosh, yeah. I think Priscilla, was Uncle Vernon, she helped handle a lot of that.
Okay.
Along with Sandy and all.
I remember being with
Had it arranged pretty much
Yeah.
just like
Elvis's.
Elvis's and his mother. Uncle Vernon's was at the same place.
Yeah.
And so was Grandma's.
Yeah.
Grandma Preston.
All right. Let's get one more question in, and then we'll go on to more on the next video. There's just some that are so extended.
That's okay.
So,
Extended place.
I mean, they're just very.
Too much?
They're just, with videos, we try to keep them at a certain length. And here's one. Says, I know that this is old news, but I've always wondered, what do Billy and Joe think about the book Elvis, What Happened?
Well, I thought it was,
I've said it a lot of times.
very harsh, and it revealed a whole lot about Elvis that people didn't know at that time, and as far as the book itself, I thought the guys, they said it was
no need
good,
for
but
it.
I think the biggest majority of it was out of revenge.
I do too. I think
That
I think all of it was revenge.
That was Sonny and Red
and
Dave. Okay.
But later, I think they
regretted
after he
it.
passed, they regretted it, and and maybe back in their mind that maybe they thought it might help him a little bit, but I think most of
it helped him be more upset and more angry and
hurt real
He
bad.
couldn't believe that they, would do something like that. They knew a lot of the inside stuff, and he just he trusted them. And just like he never told anything about them, which nobody would cared anyway, but I mean, well, I mean, just saying, you know what I mean?
Well, whatever.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
But I mean,
I
I loved him.
there was
them all.
Elvis and there was the guys that
Yeah.
cared about Elvis, and
The hell with the guys.
the guys didn't mean nothing, except being around Elvis.
Well, I liked all of them, and we always did. We didn't have any hard feelings. I don't like that they wrote the book, and he was very upset about it. And they can say all they want to about trying to help him, but it wasn't at that point. It wasn't their place to do anything, in my opinion.
Well, even that, if you really want to help somebody, you don't make it public.
You don't
keep
tell
it private, and you.
Yeah.
If there was something I'm like, okay, I need to help you with it. I'm not going to write a book about it and tell the whole world about it. You keep that personal.
Well,
and
they
do it
couldn't
that way.
do that though, because Elvis wouldn't listen, and he wouldn't, but
They had no way of helping.
they had no way of helping him.
It's like
I get
I
that,
said,
but-
and of course,
Nobody could
they
help
even,
Elvis but Elvis.
even Sonny and Red and all the others, you know, they agreed and liked what I said. You know, if you know, you tried to help Elvis in the best way you could,
Right.
but if you hacked him off and all, and
You
he
can't-
fired you and you were out, there was
Couldn't
no
help
way
him
to
at
help
all.
him. You
Right.
couldn't help him. So, you know, you had to watch what you said
Suggested
to him.
to
And,
him.
you had to
Like he didn't.
you had to pity patter around
Yeah,
in order
right.
to get your chance to say something.
But you know, he never really said to any of the guys, "You can't be doing this" or "You can't do that." He didn't interfere with their personal life unless it was something that
Affected him.
affected him, or you know, like on his tours, he didn't like any. He didn't want any marijuana on the tours, and he made that plain. But you know,
I'm a firm
to Elvis, he was
believer-
not. To Elvis, he was not an addict.
Right.
He was on medication,
Yeah.
and I don't think he ever realized that he wasn't. It just, you know.
But a lot of people don't. But I'm a firm believer that you can't help somebody until they are open to getting help themselves.
That's
the
exactly
only
right.
person who could help Elvis was Elvis himself.
Right.
It had to start there,
Right.
or you know, you could get your little
Opinions.
comments and opinions in every now and then, you know, and hope, you know, that it would help him. But you know, I mean, Elvis was a grown man, and well, I shouldn't say that. Everybody knows he was a grown man, you know.
But
he was a strong-willed person.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like that old song. He did it his way.
Mm-hmm.
And if you didn't like it, you know, you could say
You
bye
could hit the
bye.
road.
And when you said bye bye, that was it. You
Yeah.
wasn't no way you was gonna help him in, you know. So that was the whole thing about all of it. You know, is God, I'd like to have said a lot of things, you know, and to try to help him, but I knew that, you know, if I did and he didn't like it, you know, I was out. And
Only way you could
at
help
that
him
time,
was be
I
there.
wanted to be there, you know, because he needed it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The only way you could help him was just be there
Yeah.
in case, you know.
All right. Well, with that, I think we'll wrap this one up. We do have more to come next week.
I want to say one thing.
But I was gonna say,
I want to say, Teresa and Nikki, I love my earrings.
Teresa Harris
Thank you.
and Nikki Adams in
yes.
North Carolina.
Yes, thank you so
They are. They're
much.
pretty.
And
They are
and
very
if
pretty.
you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do, and tell your friends too, and also go and subscribe and watch MMK,
Memphis Mafia Kid.
Memphis Mafia Kid, with my oldest son Danny and his wife Teresa. They do it, and they have a lot of good stuff on theirs, and you know, and just remember, what do we always say?
Elvis fans
Elvis fans
matter.
Matter.